Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. And so far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti. And earlier today, I completely destroyed my ankle. And I am now in a lot of pain. I'm also high as a kite. So, I don't know how well this is going to go. But without further ado, let's get into it. With the first animal of the week being the house finch. Haemororphus, or Haemorhorus mexicanus, is a bird in the finch family Frigilidae, which is originally native to Mexico and the southern United States west of the Rocky Mountains. However, they were introduced to the eastern United States in the 1940s through the pet trade, and this, coupled with climate change due to global warming, has allowed them to become established throughout the majority of Mexico, the continental United States, and southern Canada. They were introduced to both Spain and Hawaii as well, where they are currently considered an invasive species. House finches tend to prefer semi-open woodland, croplands, and urban areas where they travel in small flocks and feed upon grains, seeds, small insects, berries, and other fruits. Reach around 5 to 6 inches or 12.5 to 15 centimeters in length, around 16 to 27 grams in weight, sporting an 8 to 10 inch or 20 to 25 centimeter wingspan. The house finch is a moderately sized finch. Adults have long, square-tipped brown tail and are dull or dull brown color, which are brown or dull brown color across the back, with some shading into the deep gray on the wings and feathers. On the wing feathers, the breast and belly feathers may be streaked, and the flanks usually are streaked. In most cases, adult males' heads, necks, and shoulders are orange or red in color, while females have brown or straw-colored upper parts. House finches are monogamous and form pairs. Their breeding season lasts between March and August. They build nests made of twigs, feathers, leaves, and other debris inside of tree cavities, dense bushes, openings in buildings, or in hanging plants. Here, the mother will lay 2 to 6 bluish-green spotted eggs, which she will incubate for 12 to 14 days. Upon hatching, much of the parental care is done by the father, and fledging typically occurs around 19 days. And house finches may raise 2 or more clutches per year, depending on food availability. Under ideal conditions, a house finch will live up to 11 years. Next up is Atta cephalotus. It is a species of leafcutter ant in the tribe Attini, which are the fungus-growing ants. They are widely distributed throughout North, Central, and South America, from as far north as Mexico to as far south as Bolivia. Here they tend to inhabit tropical rainforest, cloud forest, and mixed forest grassland mosaics, depending where they spend the bulk of their time in the understory and on the forest floor. Although leafcutter ants are famous for their cutting and gathering of leaves as well as other plant material like seeds, flowers, fruit, and parts of vines, and they will also occasionally harvest fecal matter and dead invertebrates. They don't actually eat these substances regularly, and instead they use this organic matter to nourish and cultivate expansive fungus farms, which provide the majority of the colony's nutrition. These are colonial insects with complex division of labor, a single long-lived queen up to 20 years, and millions of sterile workers and soldiers live together in an enormous underground nest which can be up to 100 square meters. Workers carry and cut leaf fragments, and cleave mulch and leaves, tend to the symbiotic fungus gardens, and care for the queen and their larvae and pupae, while soldiers defend the nest and may also help with carrying and cutting of the organic material. Newly hatched workers perform tasks inside the nest, some outside, i.e. trail clearing, while older workers mainly active outside the nest. Leafcutter ants are eaten by a wide variety of predators, including many birds, bats, frogs, toads, lizards, ground mammals, and invertebrates, including other ants, such as army and fire ants. Next up is the sea otter in Hibbertopterus, which is a marine mammal native to the northern Pacific, where they can be found in the coastal waters along Russia, Japan, Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Here they tend to prefer habitats such as sheltered rocky lagoons, kelp forests, and cold barrier reefs. Although each adult and independent juvenile forages alone, sea otters tend to rest together in single-sex groups called rafts, which may be upwards of 1,000 strong. Their diet is comprised of sea urchins, worms, starfish, crabs, lobsters, scallops, clams, mussels, limpets, chitons, abalones, snails, and bottom-dwelling fish. Sea otters are themselves preyed upon by orcas, sea lions, sharks, bald eagles, bears, and coyotes. Female sea otters are smaller, reaching around 3.3 to 4.7 or 1 to 1.4 meters in length, and 30 to 75 pounds or 14 to 33 kilograms in weight, compared to males at 4 to 5 feet in length or 1.2 to 1.5 meters, and 50 to 100 pounds or 22 to 45 kilograms in weight, making them the heaviest members of the mustelid family, but among the smallest marine mammals. Unlike most other marine mammals, the sea otter has no blubber and relies on its exceptionally thick fur to keep warm. With up to 1,500 strands per square centimeter or 970,000 to square inch, its fur is some of the densest of any animal, consisting of long, waterproof guard hairs and short underfur. They have long, broad, webbed hind feet, short, flattened, muscular tail, a very flexible skeleton and front paws that support retractable claws, and tough pads on the palms to help them grip onto slippery prey. They are a polygamous species which breeds year-round, and after a 4-month pregnancy, mothers give birth to 1 and 2 pups, which remain with their mother for 6 to upwards of 8 months. Female sea otters reach sexual maturity at around 3 to 4 years of age, and males at around 5. Under ideal conditions, a sea otter may live upwards of 20 years. Sorry. Next up is the California condor, which is a New World vulture and the only surviving member of its genus Gynogypes, which was once native throughout much of North America during the Pleistocene, but steadily declined in both range and number until it ultimately went extinct in the wild in 1987, with only 22 individuals remaining in captivity. Thankfully, extensive conservation, captive breeding, and reintroduction efforts were undertaken, and today California condor can be found throughout California, Arizona, Utah, and the Baja Peninsula of Mexico. They are diurnal creatures which tend to travel alone or in small groups, flying up to 160 miles or 250 kilometers in a day in search of the carrion on which they feed. At night, California condors roost in large groups and are known for their well-developed social structure, reaching 43 to 55 inches or 109 to 140 centimeters in length and 15 to 31 pounds or 8 to 9 kilograms in weight, and sporting an 8.2 to 10 foot or 4.2 to 3 meter long wingspan. The California condor is the largest flying bird in North America. The adult California condor is a uniform black, with the exception of large triangular patches or bands of white on the underside of the wings. It has gray legs and feet, an ivory-colored bill, and a frill of black feathers surrounding the base of the neck, as well as brownish-red eyes. In contrast, the juvenile is mostly molted dark brown, with blackish coloration on the head. The condor's head has little to no feathers, which helps them keep it clean when feeding on carrion. The skin color varies from yellowish to a glowing reddish-orange. California condors form monogamous lifelong pairs, and they nest in crevices or in caves and cliffs and feed once every 2 years. Breed once every 2 years. Females lay a single egg between February and May, which incubate and shifts for 55 to 60 days. Under rare circumstances, female California condors are capable of parthenogenesis, a form of asexual reproduction that does not require the need for a mate. Condors fledge 6 months after hatching but remain with their parents for multiple years. They will gain adult plumage by 5 to 6 years old and reach reproductive maturity around 8. Under ideal conditions, the California condor may live upwards of 60 years. Next up is the striped bass, Morone saxatilis, which is also known as the Atlantic striped bass, the striper, the line cider, the rock or the rock fish. It is an andromous perciform fish in the family Moronidae, which is unusual amongst most fishes for its ability to thrive in both fresh and salt water. Striped bass are native to the Atlantic coast of North America from Canada down to the Gulf of Mexico, but they have been introduced throughout much of North America as well as Russia, Ecuador, Iran, South Africa, Turkey, and Latvia, both for aquaculture and recreational fishing and as a means to help control populations of highly invasive gizzard shad. capable of reaching upwards of 5 feet or 1.52 meters in length and 75 pounds or 35 kilograms in weight. The striped bass is a typical member of the family Moronidae in shape, having a stout but streamlined silvery body marked with 7 to 8 continuous horizontal stripes on each side. These run from their gills to their tails. Adult striped bass feed upon other fish, mollusks, crustaceans, and worms, and as juveniles they feed on insects, smaller fish, and worms, and as larvae, striped bass feed upon plankton. Striped bass are themselves preyed upon by larger fish, turtles, alligators, crocodiles, otters, and seals. As adults, some striped bass spend their entire lives inhabiting lakes, reservoirs, rivers, and or coastal estuaries year-round, while others spend much of the year in the open Atlantic or the Gulf of Mexico and migrate north and south seasonally, ascending into rivers to spawn in the spring. Males reach sexual maturity sooner, around 2 to 4 years, compared to females at 4 to 8 years of age. Under ideal conditions, a striped bass may live upwards of 30 years. Next up is the African bush elephant, Loxodon africana, also known as the African savanna elephant or the African plains elephant. It is one of 2 extant African elephant species and one of 3 extant elephant species, the others being the African forest elephant and the Asian elephant. They are native throughout much of sub-Saharan Africa, being widespread across 37 countries and dwell in an equally diverse range of habitats, including cloud and temperate forests, grasslands, dry woodlands, deserts, scrublands, wetlands, and agricultural land, from sea level to mountain slopes up to 8,200 feet or 2,500 meters. They are extremely social animals which form tight-knit familial herds which can range from 5 to upwards of 30 strong. Which are typically comprised of several adult females, their daughters, and their pre-pubertal sons, led by a matriarch, which is an older female which uses her experience to guide the group. Adult males are typically solitary but are known to occasionally form smaller all-male herds. These giant herbivores feed on a variety of plants, including grasses, shrubs, vines, creepers, fruit, tree bark, herbs, leaves, roots, and tubers. Besides humans, healthy adult bush elephants have essentially no predators. However, spotted hyenas and owl crocodiles, and especially African lions, are known to hunt and kill young, sick, or infirm elephants. The African bush elephant is the largest land mammal on Earth, with females averaging around 8.5 feet or 2.6 meters tall at the shoulder and 3 tons or 3.3 metric tons in weight, while males average around 10.5 feet or 3.2 meters tall at the shoulder and 6 tons or 6.6 metric tons in weight, with the largest known individuals capable of reaching up to 13 feet or 3.96 meters and 12 tons or 10.89 metric tons in weight. They sport large, pointed triangular ears, which help them reduce body heat, and their backs are remarkably concave in shape. Their trunks have 2 finger-like processes on the tips, and they have sturdy tusks which are curved out and point forward. They breed throughout the year, with peak periods occurring during the rainy seasons. After a 2-year-long pregnancy, mothers will give birth to a single calf and occasionally twins, which are nursed for about 2 years and remain with their mother's herd for up to 6 years. A female bush elephant will reach sexual maturity around 10 years of age, compared to a male at around 20. Under ideal conditions, they may live up to 70 years. And our extinct animal week is Hibbertopterus, a genus of semi-aquatic eurypterid, which is a group of extinct arthropods, and these lived throughout what is now North America, the British Isles, Southern Africa, and mainland Europe, from the Givdian stage of the Middle Devonian to the Bashkirian stage of the Middle Carboniferous, roughly 387 to 323 million years ago. There is a train, I am sorry. The first remains of Hibbertopterus, consisting of a head and sections of the back and tail, were unearthed from the Carboniferous deposits of Scotland by naturalist John Schuyler in 1831. Although he published a lengthy description of the specimen, he would not name the animal. British geologist Samuel Hibbert redescribed the same fossil specimens, giving them the name Eurypterus scholieri. Later in 1883, the specimen, along with several others, would be assigned to the Eurypterid genus Glyptoscorpius in by British geologist Ben Peach. Over the next century, several specimens of what we now know to be Hibbertopterus would be assigned variously to Glyptoscorpius, Eurypterus, other Euryptera genuses, as well as various crustacean genuses, arachnid genuses, and even plant genuses, with the actual genus Hibbertopterus only being established in 1964 by American paleontologist Eric N. Kaljelsvig Wagner, or Waring, I don't know. The name meaning Hibbert's wing. Today there are 9 species of Hibbertopterus considered valid, being H. calodocus, H. delwacki, H. dickey, H. lamsdelli, H. austrovenesis, H. peachy, H. scolari, H. wintingbergensis, and H. stevensoni, with species ranging from 2.2 feet or 0.67 meters to 6.6 feet or 2 meters in length. The Hibbertopterus was a large, broad-bodied, and heavy animal, with the biggest species ranking as both the largest known eurypterids of the suborder Scylonoria and possibly the heaviest eurypterids and heaviest land invertebrates of all time. It sported 3 pairs of forward-facing appendages that were specialized for gathering food, and additionally had 3 pairs of legs that were used for locomotion. The tail was broad and cylindrical before tapering into a gladius-shaped telson. The Hibbertopterus sported both a set of gills and a set of brook lungs, allowing the animals to both live in water as well as on land. In fact, there is a well-preserved fossil Hibbertopterus trackway in Scotland where it walked through the mud on a shoreline. In life, this massive semi-aquatic invertebrate would have inhabited the swamps, lakes, riverways, and wetlands of the Carboniferous, feeding upon detritus, carrion, tiny invertebrates, and various plants. As always, take care of my guys, gals, and my binary pals. Have a wonderful day.